All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you what it is that I'm looking for when I'm grading. So when you submit these projects to me, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Since you're going to be submitting to me on this Unit 1, you're going to submit exactly like your DWG files, your real original files. I can't mark that up and send it back to you. So all I can do is I'm going to have a Word document and I'm going to type in this Word document. So the top part is going to be about your title blocks. The bottom part is going to be about your layouts project. And I'm going to just type in all the comments like, hey, change the layer to whatever, you forgot the one text style, whatever it is that you need to change. I'm going to list it out here in this document. On Blackboard, I'm going to send this Word document to you. And so you can print it out or just open it up and put it on one screen and make your changes. Once you've made all the changes that you see in this document, that's when you're going to resubmit it to me for your final grade. I will warn you right now, this project right here takes me a while to grade because I have now 9 of you times 2 projects each, and I'm going through, you'll see how much detail I have to go into each one of those projects. So this unit does take me a little while to grade, just time-wise. So anyway, I wanted to show you what your Word document was going to look like. And so what you're going to do is submit to me your original layouts file. So I'll open it up. It's going to look like this. You guys watched me. We just now did this, but this will be what your file looks like. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check and see under drawing properties. I'm going to come in here in lowercase. I'll type my name. What I'm looking for is it going to update it in the fields in those title blocks? And is it going to change it to capital? Because in your title block, you should have had it capitalized. So that's what I'm looking for there. I'm going to come over here to layer states, and I'm going to make sure you have all on, elevations, floor plan, foundation. I'm just going to kind of walk through those and make sure they all look how they should look. I'm going to make sure that you have all on set current right now because viewports don't work unless you have all of your layers on in model. I'm going to click over here to the view tab. I'm going to make sure that you have 2 elevation views, one for front and it should zoom in, one for side, it should zoom in. If it doesn't zoom in for me, I'm going to type in, oops, where am I? UCS follow, and I'm going to make sure that it's set back to 0. Sometimes you guys forget to set it to 0 and it just won't zoom into that window. So make sure that it's set to 0. Make sure you have the author. I'm going to come over here to floor plan 1. I'm going to type in PSLT scale. Make sure that's set to 0. I'm going to click on your viewport. I'm going to make sure that your viewport is on your viewports layer. I'm going to make sure that that layer is locked, or that viewport is locked, and that viewport is set to 3/16 inch equals a foot. I'm going to make sure when I come in here that you do have that right layer state set current. I'm going to look over here at your title block, make sure it says floor plan 3/16, 1 of 3, and that it updated my lowercase name to my uppercase name. And that the date is, when I save it, the date updates with that. I'm going to click to elevations. I'm going to make sure that you have, again, these are on viewports. They're both locked. They're both 3/16 inch equals a foot. That you've got your named views in them, and that they're lined up with each other perfectly. And I'm going to make sure that you have cropped or clipped those viewports the way that you need to so that nothing else shows. I'm going to click over to, and I'm going to make sure that you fill this out. Elevations, this is 2 of 3. And PSLT scale. Oops. Foundation, PSLT scale 0. I'm going to select these viewports. I'm going to make sure that they're all locked at 3/16 inch. Make sure that they show everything that they're supposed to. No text is being cut off. I'm going to look at the name, I'm going to look at the scale, and I'm going to look at 3 of 3. I'm also going to right click. I'm going to go to your page setup manager. I'm going to make sure that all of these are using project 1. And then I'm going to click onto project 1 and modify and make sure that project 1 was set up the way that you were supposed to set it up. So with the printer, page size, and monochrome. So, and as long as everyone says it's using Project One, then I only have to check it once. I don't have to check each layout. So that's how I'm going to grade the layouts project. Anything that I find wrong with it, I'm going to type it up in the Word document and send it back to you. Do you guys have questions about that project? Okay, now I'm going to open up the title blocks project. Same thing, I'm going to come in here and type in PSLT scale, make sure that's set to 0. Oh, I forgot to say on the other one, I'm going to select your border and make sure that your border on all of those layouts is set to the border layer, not layer 0. So make sure this is on border. Title block should be on layer 0 up there. It looks good. I've got one mechanical and one architectural. I'm going to right click and go to Page Setup Manager. Make sure that it's set to DWF eView. By the way, if you're doing this at home, they give you this DWF 6 ePlot, whatever, PC3, that'll work too. If you're at home, that one's fine too. Really, we probably should in this class just go ahead and change it to that. That way everybody's got it at home. When we created that DWF eView, they didn't have that printer as an option. It didn't come with AutoCAD. So I'll close that. I am going to click into the architectural. Make sure you have an architectural title block. Again, double check, that's on the border layer. This is on layer 0. PSLT scale is set to 0. I'm going to look at your page setup. Modify. Make sure this looks good. I'm going to click over here to annotate. And I need to make sure that you have 6 text styles. AutoCAD gave you standard in annotative by default. You created ArcText, ArcText NA, MECText, MECText NA. So I'm going to look at this. ArcText is annotative, so it has this little symbol next to it showing that it's annotative. ArcText NA is not annotative, so it doesn't have the symbol. Both of these will be on the stylus BT. MECText, MECText NA, making sure that each one's annotative and not, or as annotative as it needs to be. Now that I've got this done, I'm going to insert. Ooh, hold on, let me set myself as the author. Again, lowercase. I'm going to I'm going to insert a block. There should only be 2 title blocks in here. If you have more than 2, which happens, you're like, mechanical, oh man, something went wrong and it won't let me rename that block. A lot of times people are like mechanical 2, mechanical 3, and I end up with people submitting 5 title blocks and I don't know which one was the good one. We learned about the purge command, so you need to purge out anything that is not the good one. I only want 2 title blocks in here, or 2 blocks, period. But we're going to do the architectural title block. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to make sure that that base point was in the lower right corner. Whatever, I'm going to do all of that. Fill it out, looks good. It's all architectural. One super common problem or mistake that people make is they'll set the attributes to the architectural text style and they'll forget to set the labels to that text style. So be careful of that. I'm going to insert the mechanical. Same thing, just kind of walking through, making sure these are all fields. It made my name uppercase. Now that I've inserted them and they look good, I'm going to go into the block editor and I'm going to double click on Drawn By. I'm going to look at that default to make sure it's a field. I'm going to double click on that field and I'm going to make sure it's set to author and uppercase. I'm going to double click on the date, double click on the field right here, and I'm going to make sure it says save date, not create date, not plot date. It needs to be save date. And then I'll cancel and I'll close, discard or whatever, and then I'll go into the block editor and look at the other one. So that is how I'm going to grade those projects. It's exactly what I just walked you through. I'm just checking everything that you were supposed to set up in those drawings. It's really super important that you get these title blocks right now, because we're going to be using those in the very next project. So I'll put it all in a Word document and I'll send it to you in Blackboard, and I'm about to show you how that'll happen. Do you guys have questions for me? Okay, I'm gonna let your, or well, no, I'm gonna end the video and then get the other video